Hello, my friends. It is I, Alphinius Goo, with Iad the innkeeper, and Gooey Game Master Lance, with the snail and the damn hat.
Good morning, everyone.
As you can see, say hello, you guys.
Hello, you guys.
Hello, you guys.
Stop it, Lance. I hate that crap. That's the oldest joke in the book. You realize you both did the dad joke right there. Anyway,
absolutely.
As you can see, I am still in the Blue Shine archipelago. Yes, while we are exploring these nefarious plots and strange things surrounding the various things that we found out about this Scully pineapple thing called he's a puna goofa number sculla. Try to say that fast 3 times there. Yes, so we got some stories to tell.
I don't think I couldn't even say that once.
And all y'all need to pay attention, because this is how you might find and win the treasure, right? The fabled treasure of Booboo-Bon. So this may be the worst, most terrible, stupid little thing I've ever done.
But you did it.
But I did it.
You can't take it back now.
Yeah.
I can't. I know. Now I have to finish it, right?
It's out there.
Well, anyway, happy Saturday to everyone out there. It's good to see you very much so. And it is marvelous to have you, Lance. And Iad, thank you so much for running our stream today while Camera Mandy is off gallivanting in the woods.
It is my pleasure.
I don't know what she's doing in the woods, but she's doing something in the woods.
Not my business.
Yeah, it's not my business either. I agree with that. All right, what about you, Lance? You know, I think she's camping is what's going. You know about camping?
I've heard.
Yeah, it's something you do in the woods. I don't know.
Yes,
something you do in the woods.
So anyway,
I think we got a really smart bunch here today.
Well, has anybody said anything in the chat that's worth posting up yet? Because, you know, I want to make sure that we give people their due when they say snarky crap.
Of course. Well, before any of that snarky stuff, got the very first comment, Rick saying good morning.
Hello,
Good
Rick.
morning.
It's good to see you.
Good morning.
Oh, that's right. This is a problem. When you have one of these fake backgrounds, you have to wave carefully. Look, my hand is
whoa.
there.
Fake background.
Yes. There it is. Very good. Oh, not a fake background. I didn't say that. It's just strange. You know, it's some kind of magic that's going on in the background. Anyway, so seriously though, for everyone who's watching, I did get a little distracted out there while we've been in the blue shines on the little tiny isle of Maui. So while we've been there, Ms. Goo and I have been there, but I have not forgotten about the fabled treasure of Booboo-Bon and the opportunity for someone to win some of the fabled treasure of Booboo-Bon, which is coincidentally Gooey Cube merchandise.
Coincidentally.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, it's a fabled treasure. So we'll address that a little bit more as the stream goes on. But there's going to be some clues that you're going to get today in the stream. Some little bonus things that might help you in the. Yes, David. Hello, David. There's a big ass snail right in your face right now. Lance is holding it. Anyway, all right. So, Iad, just take a moment. Some folks watching might not know you. Just tell what you do and say hi and all that stuff. And we appreciate you so much for backing us up and helping us out while Mandy's gone. So, please do.
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. My name is Iad. Some of you may remember me with my first appearance at Gooey Cube being last year Gen Con. So that's where I got my start with Gooey Cube, showing up to help out there, and I guess I was liked enough to be able to stick around. But at Gooey Cube, I help out with customer service, of course. If any of you email us, and likely you were talking to me, I'll be the one to take care of almost any issue that you have, or answer any questions. And if I don't know, I go and find out the information to be able to tell you. Otherwise, I do help out with the operations. I like to think I'm a generally odd job kind of guy. If some task out there needs to get done, I can help complete it. Like,
so we call you the Swiss Army knife. Is that correct?
Swiss Army knife is a good term. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to be this corkscrew. The corkscrew, the little scissors, yes, the teeny knife that doesn't cut anything.
Well, no, I make
I'm
sure to
just
sharpen
kidding.
it.
No, you are magnificent. I'm just kidding. I am
Thank
just
you.
kidding. No, you are magnificent. And we will be seeing you all here very soon, right? With EAD and at Gen Con. Yes,
Indeed.
very soon.
Mm-hmm.
We are machinating.
If you come to Gen Con, you will see myself there. You will maybe catch Alphinius there.
It's a good chance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
as well as the rest of
no,
us.
thank you. Thank you very much for doing this morning, Ian, taking your Saturday morning. Appreciate it more than you. All right, so let's take a moment, Lance, and give us a little, I know you've been hanging around for a long time, and, we appreciate the gooiness of you, even if you are holding the snail. You don't have to hold that the whole thing, the whole show. It's probably making your lap very hot.
I have a hot snail lap now.
Listen, whatever floats your boat, as they say, sir. Yes.
Well, it's we've taken over Alphinius's chair in the studio down here, so
I see that.
we have to represent the Hatters now, and of course the cult of the snail.
Yes.
That's all part of this taking over, sort of thing. So yeah.
And Lance, you're going to talk a little bit about. We're going to have a little discussion about game mastering at conventions and one shots and improvisation versus preparation and all this kind of stuff. Hopefully, it'll be a little fun for folks. Yes.
Sure. Okay. We'll have a good time, one way or the other.
I'm sure you're going to improv the discussion of improvisation. So
yeah, we'll improv. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do this social media thing to start and we also coincidentally, Lance is also the Gooey Community Member of the Week, which gets you a Facebook post and absolutely nothing else.
There's the newsletter post too.
Oh, you get the newsletter. Yes, you get the newsletter and you get in the Facebook, that's what you get.
So, that's what you get. That sounds almost vaguely threatening. That's what you get.
That's what you get if you're a Gooey Member of the Month or Week or whatever it is. All right, you got this, Iad. You can throw these things up here.
I can indeed,
and
I
want to see how good you are at clicking those buttons. You also just what?
I also just managed to grab some more pictures from the social media.
But do you want to do those first, or do you want to do the standard ones?
Let's start off with one of these. I think it'd be good to commemorate someone's first time running through the Ghost Stone.
Yes. So Amber has been marvelous and has been kind of keeping us in the loop about the running of the Ghost Stone and getting great comments. And it is a fun little run and obviously leads into the Crovenloft saga. And we love it when people take pictures and let us know. And I love this. You look behind someone's screen. You see that, Lance? Look at this organization. You see this? This is magnificent, right? You see, handouts and maps are all in their little sleeves, and there's little stat tables and all. I mean, this is like ready to go. So
I like the binder with the sheets in it. That looks really cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't know, neither of you guys know because we haven't really sat at my table yet. But one of these days, Lance, you come out with Howard, we'll run a game. But I always use sheet protectors for various handouts. And yeah, Amber, that's you. I didn't know you were pretty nerdy. Now I do. I might not remember that next week though. So just everybody remember that. But Amber,
write that down.
We got to give you props for your excellent organization and all of that stuff. And I appreciate you keeping us in the loop on it. I hope the players had a really fun time. I think you noted that in your post, and thank you for giving us a little light in the den. All right, let's go on.
Of course.
Oh, look, we popped back in, Lance. You see how we did the pop in and pop out?
I don't know that we popped out completely. I mean, we were sidebarred, I think.
Yes, we were sidebarring. This is a great question. And yes, very much. The GenzaCon adventures, we have the 3 that we did originally, and we have some still of the limited edition still left, and we're going to bring those. and we have others. And there'll be, I think there's a bundle price to get all 3 plus the new one that we're doing, which is called Madness in GenZicon. And so you'll have a chance to get those at Gen Con at the booth. So we're excited to bring them. There's a coupon for them and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how this is working, but somehow, damn it, yes, they will be there.
We will bring it. There will be some deals. I will
Yes,
likely be
there will
setting
be.
that up.
I'm counting on it, sir. Look, my thumbs disappear. Look, my thumbs are gone.
Oh my God,
Look, my thumb
Alphinius.
I know, this is horrible.
That is some
It's
wicked
just illusion.
background,
It's just
magic
illusion, guys. Don't
background you
worry.
have there, you know.
It's a disintegration spell.
Oh God.
Oh, I get it. Yes, we'll do an email to everyone and take care of all that. So do not worry. Do not worry at all.
Yeah. Adventures will be available online.
Yes. Through the website. That one makes me confused a little bit, Harry. Hi, Harry, by the way.
The new GenZicon adventure, I believe, like we did last year, there will be a special cover we bring with us to Gen Con, and after Gen Con, then there will be the if there's leftovers of those, and then otherwise it's going to be the standard cover. But the adventure
Correct.
will be available after Gen Con.
Yes, correct. Yes. So anyway, let's see the next one.
Of course. Let me.
You're doing great.
There's a lot of pictures. There's a lot of
It
pictures.
was fun. Mandy's sent you what they say a pants load, right? This is what was a reference to babies and diapers. Oh yes,
You could say
yes,
that.
Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do this?
We're gonna do this one.
All right. Well, no, I don't want to do them all at the same time. So if we can, I'd like to do all of the blue shines together. If we can do that, because I'm gonna give some insights as we go through it. So okay with that? Just you can just scroll through them. All right.
Okay.
All right. So first and foremost, in this magnificent aisle that we found, we chanced upon some little folk, which are called hooligans.
That's a.
And
I didn't say anything.
yes. So I took a vote because I think when we do the Isle of Unduulu, which is still on my list to do with Geeky Hoodie, when we do the Isle of Unduulu, I think we're going to bring forth some little tropical beings called the hooligans and bring them forth. Anyway, forget that. Be immersive. While Ms. Goo and I have been in the little island of Maui, we searching for the fabled treasure of Bububan. We met these hooligans. So and the little one on the right is named Hula Hooligan. So she actually told us about some things, and we learned some things from the little hooligans about the treasure of Bububan. But there's more stuff to this tale. So this is why you have to kind of keep track of this. And we'll send out a newsletter so everybody who missed stuff will have all the clues. I promise. All right, let's go to the next one of these.
Sure.
So Ms. Goo and the hooligans began showing us around and talking to us about things and teaching us things. And we actually found this strange totem with the help of the hooligans. This totem now is named Snooga Snooga Hamu Hamu Hulu Hulu. Okay. Try to do that one right there. Okay. And it means something to the effect of protector of the hooligans. Okay. But indeed, recently we noted that this skull pineapple, this skull pineapple device has been affixed to this totem, and there's other things happening that surround this stuff. So and everyone give a hand to Ms. Goo because she was a wonderful sport on this time. Ms. Gooligans. That's good, Rick. That's very good, Rick. So anyway, make sure you're keeping track of this. So don't forget Snooga Snooga Hamu Hamu Hulu Hulu. Okay, keep that in your mind. All right. So anyway, the hooligans showed us this strange skull pineapple thing that was affixed to this totem, and we began to try to understand what's going on with this skull pineapple. All right, let's go. So we also, some of the other hooligans, they took us out where, and we learned about this character called He's and I'll read the whole name here in a moment. But there's a strange character in the Blue Shines who is named He's a Puna Puna Goofa Goofa Number Sculla. So make sure you keep track of that name too. Look, we lost Ian. He's so bothered by this. The most worst promotion I've ever done. He's so bothered by this, he left. Ian's like, I'm out of here. So, Ian, I hope you're still here because we got to go to another slide. Because anyway, this little guy is named Fula. We had left, and he's still switching to the slides. So the little hooligan took us into the jungle and showed us a number of places where this skull pineapple thing of the he's a Puna Puna Goofa Goofa Nubba Skull is all over the place. All right. We thought we lost you, Ian.
I'm good. Technical issue. Back.
So little hooligan is showing us this stuff. It's not David. It is not the snail's fault. Anyway, so something's going on with this. He's a guy. All right, and we believe he's a Puna Puna Goofa Goofa Nubba Skulla is in the native language of the hooligans. This roughly translates to. I promise it'll be in the newsletter, so you'll be able to copy and paste it. So we believe this to roughly translate to big bad pineapple skull who eats us. Okay, so that's what we think he's a Puna Puna Goofa Goofa Nubba Skulla means. All right. So don't forget that. All right? Somehow this is all linked to the fabled treasure of Boo Boo Bun. Okay?
Somehow.
Never let me do this again, Ian.
I will. I wasn't aware this was going on in the first place.
Now the mystery got deeper because as we've been traveling around this little tiny island, being shown around by the little hooligans, we began to see the pineapple symbol like everywhere. Right? It was even on a show we were watching called Psych. All right. None of you know that. Never mind. Forget what I just said right there. If you know that, then you know that was funny. All right. So anyway, we began to see this pineapple thing all over the place. All right. So now we're starting to search to figure out what's going on with these pineapples. All right. So anyway, let's go to the next one. And out of the blue, I don't know how this happened. Nessie showed up in the middle of the ocean. So I don't know what Nessie has to do with it, but don't forget that Nessie showed up. Very important that you don't forget that Nessie showed up. Okay, so all right, keep going, because yes, thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not Jen. Wait a minute, who's Grey Wolf? That's gosh darn it, I can't do all these handles. Help me,
Grey
Wolf.
Grey Wolf is Grey Wolf.
No. Oh goodness gracious. Yeah, Lance might need a raise. In fact,
Lance at this point,
everyone watching might need a raise, is what I'm thinking. Anyway, so don't forget Nessie. All right, don't forget
Nessie's on vacation too. Okay?
That's right. Nessie went to vacation.
Yeah, it's maybe out of nowhere for you, but it's only natural.
It's getting a little tan.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, is that the last one, or is there one more?
There is one more.
All right, let's do the one more. This is also very important because as Ms. Goo and I have been traveling about, we have noted this strange hand symbol, right? Now, this is very important that you understand this. This was the first clue we found, okay? When you make this symbol and mutter the words Ha'ang Lu'uz, okay, all right? Now, we didn't know what ooze might have to do with this, but this is okay. Anyway, we are trying to find out what this means. So we are walking around right now saying Ha'ang Lu'uz in various places, and we do know it is a magical incantation. We just don't know what it's doing yet. So we promise we'll give you more information about that in the future. Don't forget that one either. Okay? All right. There you go. This is all part of the fabled treasure of Boo Boo Ban. The stupidest promotion I've ever done, but I'm still going to keep doing it.
I thought you told me not to let you do this again.
No, I have to finish.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes, it is still the stupidest promotion I've ever done. So anyway, I hope everyone is like halfway enjoying it. I hope you're at least partially enjoying it, but at least if nothing else, we're shamelessly bribing you to possibly win some of the fabled treasure of Boo Boo Bond. All right, let's finish the social media, and then we want to talk to Lance.
Okay,
God.
Here we go.
This okay. All right, now this is something. Lance, you see this?
Yes.
So this is one of the many arts that are in the Gloomport set. All right, and this is a place called Long Toes Road. All right, and it illustrates it, and there are these for lack of a better term, domesticated giant spiders that are actually used as steeds by this group. Okay, and I'm not going to give away more about Long Toes Road because there's much more to come. But Gloomport really is progressing nicely and doing very, very well, and we're very excited to bring it. It's going to take a few more months, and the truth of the matter is, it's just because we have to fulfill Guys and Gex, because we have to do our next Kickstarter, because we got to make a little money, because we got to pay EAD. But for everyone who's been with us, it's only about 150 or so, 200 people who've pre-ordered or backed the Kickstarter for Gloomport. You all are some of our best friends. I've been around for a long, long time and helped us so much, and I promise you will be rewarded with a magnificent package. The Gloomport is very near and dear to my heart, and I think it's going to be right along with Darkenhaven. You put that together, you're going to have one of the most spectacular cities that's ever been created. So, but anyway, lots of artworks. This is Long Toes Road, and I thought folks would like seeing it. What else you got, Ed?
A little bit of reading.
Yes, tell us about you get to tell us about this one, Ed, because
I get to.
I know you've been intimately involved in this Walgreens episode.
You could say that. So, picture Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, you're ready to go home, and Gooey Lawrence comes up, Sir Gooey Lawrence, excuse me, he comes up to you and he says, hey, go ahead and take the work truck, meet me tomorrow morning, we're going to grab these shelves from this Walgreens that's close. Okay, no big deal. I show up in the morning, and then we walk in together. Lawrence, he goes around, he points at these giant pallet racks, the big ones that go all the way up to the tall ceilings. He goes, all right, I want those ones. I want those ones there. I want all of those. And I say, are we taking all 12? He goes, yes. And also, I want those things over there. What turned out, what was expected to be a little Friday activity of grabbing a few shelves turned to be a multi-part saga. Friday leading all the way into Wednesday, when finally at 6 p.m. we finished up with the trailer, getting everything out and saying, okay, time to go home.
Yes, and I mean, the truth of the matter is, people don't know this. Excuse me. Yes, definitely do not drop it on your foot. People don't know this, but these shelving units that Lawrence and Iad and Devin and others were able to acquire for us are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars if you were to buy them. And the group that is managing the closing of this Walgreens basically sold us a bunch of these things for pennies on the dollar, right? But this is very common, right? This happens out there all the time. You just have to be in the right place at the right time. And it just so happened that we needed this right now. And so we made the move, and our wonderful gentlemen went out there in their adventure, and we have this incredible shelving now, which is I'm not sure if this is really interesting to anybody in the text.
Well, Rick finds it interesting, at least.
Yes, Rick, it is a lot like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. In fact, they gave the thumbs up all the time, except for when I would give the thumbs up, my thumbs disappear. All right, let's move on, damn it. Okay, Lindsay did this. Harry, are you sitting there? Are you sitting there, Harry? And this is what spawned it all. You know about this, Lance?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, do you see? So there began this. There was this picture of this. Do you see this snail on the right-hand side? This picture of this snail. Yes.
Everybody loves that picture.
So this was the original we wanted to make more interesting snails in the world of Zyathé just for the fun of it, right? So we made this artwork of this snail. That's what we did. It was actually part of another artwork. It wasn't even its own artwork. And the next thing you know, this thing gets a life of its own. And Chet Minton is making artwork, and Harry sculpts a miniature. And suddenly there's these things called molluskins in the world of Zyathé. And they're not, by the way. There's not. There are no molluskins in the world of Zyathé. But Harry did make a magnificent miniature. And Lindsay said she's going to paint it up. So yeah, invisible funds. And I saw you, Chet. I saw you there. So I can't wait to see Lindsay's paint up of this, and of course Harry magnificent, and we should have grabbed your snail image too at the same time, Chet. We didn't do that. I'll try to figure out to show that maybe next week, because we should have thrown that in here too, because there is some part of me that I don't think we did it on a t-shirt, but I think we're talking about doing it on a t-shirt, right? Yeah, we didn't end up doing that for sure, or do you know off the top of your head?
This artwork? No, but we should.
The snail, yeah, I think we ought to do a snail. A limited edition, fun, put that out there and let that go, because Chet's artwork on that was magnificent.
Limited exclusive Kickstarter edition?
Yeah.
2025?
Yeah, something like that. All right. Let's go to the next one.
We had guests.
So, Fasil and Jamie came to visit us, and they are marvelous. They love the Goo. And Jamie took the snail, and Fasil put on my hat, which is not my hat.
I do actually remember these two from Genghis Khan when they came up to the booth.
Yes, they been wonderful and great supporters of ours, and love what we're trying to do. And it was marvelous to see them. The only thing I wish we could have done is grab them, at least take them out for a little lunch or do something fun. But it wasn't conducive there. Their father was there, and they needed to go to take care of some family matters. But it was wonderful to see them and have them.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. Are there no pictures of Camera Mandy? Because I really wanted to give her some hard times. Oh, Rick, we had to put your post up. We had to do this. So, Rick, thank you for your comments. This was really, really good. And we are actually looking at the agents and tricks of the trade and a number of things. We think this is a pretty good class, the Agent of Jinx. And again, not just Jinx, right? We wanted to do agents of others as well as the time goes on, and that was the idea about it. And we really think the agent is a fun class for folks to play. And thank you for putting it up, Rick, and giving us some comments and ideas. And some other folks gave us some other things in the Discord about agents and about others that were in Magica. And so it was really fun to have that chat.
There is still some more, but since it's now 10:30, do we want to?
What do you have one of Mandy?
Yeah, what do you got left? Did Mandy put anything in there of herself? Because we at least got to give homage to the Camera Mandy girl that she is.
She did not.
Okay. All right. What else? How many do you got left?
I've got a good 7.
Oh my goodness. We'll save those. Make sure Mandy knows which ones we didn't show in case she doesn't get to watch it. And we'll show them next week.
Okay. I'll say.
Because yes, I want to get to the chat. This is
all right.
Good. All right. So some Lance, obviously some of the people who are watching are some of our wonderful GUI game masters just like you, right? And I don't know if you know this, but we have gotten feedback quite a bit from various conventions that we've been to where the GUI game masters are running games. And we get consistently extraordinarily high marks for the quality of our games, for the enjoyment of our games, for the fun of our games. And that all comes back, to the game masters. And it makes all of us incredibly proud to have these wonderful people who love running games for people and bringing that joy around the table. And you're one of them. So.
Oh boy!
Congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, so you get to be in the hot seat, as it were. So so first of all, Lance, just if you want to give a little background, because I don't know, I think most people actually probably know you were in the chat, but let's just give a little background and how this whole thing began in 2019 or 2020 or whatever it was. And
yeah, I think it's 2021, something like that. It's all Howard's fault. Howard, the mathematician guy. He introduced me to Kim and Gooey Cube, and I looked at the stuff. I let Kim give me the spiel before he knew what.
You got to call me Alphinius to maintain the immersiveness.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Well, you're in the Blue Shrine, so I forget.
Yes, that's right. You keep the immersiveness rolling because everybody is fooled right now.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Ignore the voice behind the curtain. Yeah. So I met Alphinius and liked all the stuff. Got all the stuff, and I've been just sort of enjoying being part of the community ever since. I got lucky and they let me run some games at Genghis Khan, and been kind of running games since then.
And get great marks, Lance. Great marks from people saying how good of a job you did, and of course we do our best. I think some part of the help is not just the quality of our game masters. That is the premier, that is the preeminent thing of importance. But also, we arm our game master as well. Some people don't do quite as good of a job of that, but we try to provide good materials and all of that stuff. So you. Damn it, Grey Wolf! I can't remember what your name. I can't remember the handle to your name. So, Iad, will you tell Grey Wolf to put that dang name in there so I just stop sitting there going, "Oh, what is that? Grey Wolf, Grey Wolf, Grey Wolf."
Grey Wolf is Grey Wolf.
So I am almost 10 years older than Lance. So let's just be clear about it. I'm getting old. This is why this promotion that I'm doing is so stupid. Yes, Harry, we arm our game masters well. Yes, something like that. Yes, thank you. I see it, Harry. I can't do quotes because my fingers disappear. You see that? This is a problem. All right. So Lance, let's talk about a 4-hour one shot at a convention, right? Because this is in many ways this is the pinnacle of game mastering, because it is one thing to be able to build a wonderful campaign over time, build backstory, all of that kind of stuff. That it can be, of course, that is the most engaging, for me at least. That's the most fun of the game, is that long, wonderful growth of characters, growth of the storylines, all of that stuff. But you can't do that in a convention.
No,
right?
The limited time it takes all of that away. And one of the tougher parts is that players don't have the connection to their characters, actually, a lot of the times. They show up and they hop on a pre-made character, and hopefully they run with it and have fun with it. But it's really kind of hard to build that, like you said, that character development in a 4-hour time when you've got all these other encounters and things to have happen. On that, I try to make sure that each player and each character, mostly each character, has something that they can do that's special during the game as early as possible. So that way, try to build that connection that the player has with their character. Oh, my character is the only thief. I can pick the lock. Or, I am the fighter. Look at this. I did a massive amount of damage. Or I killed that kobold in one swing. Something like that. Something small to get them like connected to their characters. And that's one of the
So I would love to have the chat also, if because we're going to progress through sort of the how do you run a game at a convention. We're going to progress with that as we have this conversation. I'd love to hear, because we got a wonderful game masters in our chat as well, and I'd love to hear, as we're going through this, kind of techniques that you use right at the beginning to sort of get the players engaged. I often will tell a secret. I'll grab each one of the players real fast. This is not a 5 or 10 minute discussion. This is real fast. I'll grab them on the side. I might have a little sticky note or a little handout that I want to give them, and I'll give them a secret. And that is also a good technique for getting them kind of like, ooh, this is cool. Because what you're saying, Lance, right, is give them something special to do, give them a little secret. I'd love to hear what else the chat has to say. What do you think about that, Lance? Giving them a little secret.
Yeah, that works. One of the things that we've done in the past, I've been running convention games for a very long time, and one of the things is get them to tell you something special about their character.
Yes.
And then maybe they don't use it. Maybe it's something they made up on the spot and they forget about it. But every now and then they'll latch onto it. My character has blazing orange hair and is very proud of it. Something small, a detail like that. And if you can write down or remember the details that they told you then, and reference it back in a very small way. It doesn't have to have game mechanical consequences or mechanical thing. Just if the flaming orange hair, the innkeeper says, "Oh, hey, that's a really nice head of flaming orange hair." It's something small. It doesn't take much time, but it helps them make that connection.
Right. Or there's a bad guy in the inn who doesn't like people with flaming orange hair. I don't like your hair.
Yeah.
Pull out your blade.
I duel you. Loser loses their hair.
Yes, that's right. Whoever loses will have their hair cut off. All right. Anything in the chat? Anything beyond that? Oh, that's excellent, Amber. Mm-hmm. Yes, I instituted a quick exercise where the party members answer morally great questions about their history together that quickly builds a party backstory and connections to each other. Then they can start convention play with instant bonds. That's great. That's great, Amber. That's a good tip. Because you do want to try to build those bonds. Sometimes with the secrets that I tell people, they'll interrelate with them, right? And some of them will know that they interrelate, and some of them won't. But this is good. I like this a lot. Anything else out there, Ian, that we want to put up? Yes, this is absolutely right, Jeff. They take away some of that character development, but this also is true. They can just go, right? They can spend all their points and put out all their magic items and drink their health potions, and they're not worried about the future. So that is absolutely true, very much. Okay, so if there's others about getting started, Ed, make sure you put those up because I want to capture those things. But I think what we're saying from a principle standpoint, right, is how do we quickly have our players have an affinity with their character, their pre-gen that they brought, right? How do we bring relationships to the party, right, rather quickly, right? And how do we build a foundation, if you will, of camaraderie and the strength of the party together, right? Because that's the goal, right? Oh, that's great. I like that too. I love that. Have you done that, Lance?
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah.
We did that. Let's see, that was a long time ago. But when role players latch onto that, they can take up 10 minutes of time describing it. And you don't really want to cut them off, right? Because they have great stories to tell. But yeah, that you have to kind of watch the time management when you do that.
Yes, this is the next one because this is what I was going to talk about. This is what was on my little list right here. So we have an opening, right? We're going to have an opening, and the opening is going to be all this stuff we're just talking about. And part of that, right, could be some role play, right? Because it's not necessarily just doing. And so I have actually had the story. I haven't actually done Tell Me Your Adventure previous. That's an interesting one. I've never done that before. But I have done you're sitting in an inn talking about recent developments that are going on, right? And I throw some bones out there and then let them role play for 10 minutes just amongst themselves with probably a non-player character that I have present. And so that also brings engagement. All right, let's move to the next thing. Okay, so you're sitting there and they are role-playing at the beginning. We're getting it all started and we don't want to spend 45 minutes at the beginning. How are we getting kind of long in the role play? How do you redirect that? Because I know that this is also the subtlety and the importance of keeping it going but also not wanting to quell the enthusiasm? What do you do?
An encounter of some kind. And it doesn't have to be straight out combat. It could
Correct.
be a thief steals, and players are. I found that players are kind of funny about this, but if you have an NPC thief steal 2 silver pieces from their pouch, they're going to chase that thief all over town, right? It's the principle of the matter. He stole from me. I'm going to get it back. And even though you've just given them 100 gold, and those 2 silver pieces are worth everything. So a little encounter like that. In the modules, the not so random encounters are good for that. To break up, not break up a role playing, because if the role playing is going good, honestly, I'll just let it slide, let it go. Participate as much as I can with an NPC or something like that. Let it go, as long as everybody's having a good time and it's not slowing down the pace of the group, not the pace of the adventure, but the pace of the group. And then you can move into a different encounter or something like that, not so random encounter or straight up combat, something like that.
So I always kind of think about prods, right? I always think about prods. So if the adventure is beginning with the party out in the wilds at a camp, right? That's got different prods than the party meeting at the proverbial tavern, right? And sitting there, having their chat there, versus being on a ship, right? That's coming into harbor, right? All of these have different prods. And so I do believe if you think about the prods ahead of time, based on the beginning strategy that you're bringing to the table, I think that helps. Love to hear if the chat's got anything. I'd love to hear what they've got to say about this, because I think the Lance is right. There's sort of this balance that you got to be careful. You don't want to quell the squelch the enthusiasm, right? And if you got a great table of role play, and I'm going to deviate from my list now, Lance, because I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Okay, this is great, Jeff. If the DM knows who's in the game ahead of time, they can have the players interact with each other prior to going to the con. And that has happened, and I have done that, and this is a great thing. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't always, you don't have that opportunity. But this is great fun. And you can even, you as the game master can send out hooks and interesting tidbits yourself to various individuals in the party and to the party itself. I bring something to their attention that push the adventure along. They see someone crying that imparts vital information on the adventure if they engage in conversation. They find a piece of paper. This is perfect. These are prods, right? These are absolutely what they are. Little hooks, little things. They see someone running off. They follow in. Right? I completely. This is absolutely right, Amber. This is great. And so I want to deviate from this. So now we're sitting there and we're having a great role play session, right? And it's beginning right at the beginning, and we're starting. This is the start, but six of the 7 people at the table are pretty engaged in the role playing, and you have one person who's kind of sitting back. Now, if many of us know, I'm going to get to my question. I'm almost there, Lance. Many of us know that there are different kinds of players, and people enjoy playing in different ways. But I want to, because I don't know people at my table, I know everybody. I know kind of their styles and what they want to do. But you're sitting down at a convention, you don't know really, is that person just wanting to watch? Because some people, that's more where they want to be. They don't want to be so engaged. Or is that person just feeling intimidated? Or is that person not comfortable, right? What do you do? How do you, and chat, I'd love to hear what you got to say. So what do? You got that one person.
I poke at them a tiny bit. Have an NPC do something with them. Usually the party is not necessarily engaging because they've pulled back, and the party's having the rest of their fun, right? And that person's pulled back and they're not really engaging. So I'll poke them with an NPC, something super light, nothing nothing scary, nothing that affects their character. Just, it could be, hi, how you doing? Or, oh, I noticed you have a purple backpack. Where'd you get that? Something like that, right? And you can sort of gauge their reaction to your to whatever you've done. If they perk up and go, oh yes, I have this purple backpack. It's a family heirloom. 3 generations of adventurers have had this thing, and they start engaging, and then you can sort of make connections with them to the party members. If they go back and if you say, oh, that's a lovely purple backpack, and they go, oh yeah, I just have it. They're kind of okay. Probably they're like you said, somebody who just what we call an audience member, right? They want to watch
Correct.
it happen, and that's fine. Let them watch. Check in with them every now and then to make sure that this isn't that we haven't lost them and they're not missing an opportunity that they might have fun. But in the most part, just sort of okay, here's something to watch.
Yes. Well, and I know that all of us have seen this, right? When we're game mastering, if we game mastered a lot, right? There are definitely people who the role play isn't so much their cup of tea, even though they like role playing games, right?
Yep.
But they're more intrigued by the combat or more intrigued by the mystery and solving the mysteries or the puzzles, right?
Mhm.
They're more the discovery. They like all that stuff, but they really not are extroverted people and don't really want to be super out there, right? They don't want to be the party leader. But I ask a lot of questions, and this is why I love an NPC with the group, right? And I know all of us know this, but to have an NPC who can ask a question or throw out something and direct it at the various people allows you to do exactly what you're saying, to kind of prod them and check with them as the adventure goes on to see, are you keeping their engagement? Yes. Anything from the chat on this one, Ed, that you want to throw up? This is great, Rick. I completely agree. The questions that are not yes or no answers, as best as you can, right? Give people the opportunity to give feedback. I love that. It's a great technique. And again, when you're running a game at a convention, you really are trying to give those 8 people, 7 people, 6 people, however many are at your table, a wonderful experience. And you want all of them to have that experience, not just 6 of them, right? And so,
Yeah.
all right, right? That's right, Lance. That's the truth. Okay, so all right, so now we've got the scene established. I'm back to my list now, Lance. Okay, so the scene is established, and we built some camaraderie. We built some camaraderie. We've done that. So now here's the thing. Generally, there are themes and directions that maybe are a little more railroady with convention games for obvious reasons, right? And you want to give people. Oh, Ian just texted me. What did you say, Ian?
I was trying not to interrupt you, but
10-minute warning. Ding, 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 ding. Ian, we are not known for being tremendously on time around here.
No, I figured not. I wanted to slyly notify you of the time, and now look where we're at.
Mission accomplished.
Sorry to interrupt.
And you know very well that I go off on these rabbit trails. Thank you, Portholus. Thank you, Rick.
Portholus.
Portholus the Bold. Yes, Jeff, you're right. So anyway, all right, we got him right now. So I tend to drop multiple hooks that lead to the same end.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have the illusion of choice. So let's talk about that a little bit, Lance. What do you think about getting them engaged now? How do you kind of get them sort of on the path? Because by its nature, it's kind of got to be on a path. What do you do?
Lots of prodding, lots and lots of prodding, and lots of prodding of different kinds, pointing to different places. So like you said, that illusion of choice. And it's not something that you have to hardwire into it. A lot of players that go to these conventions have been doing this long enough that they know, okay, we're sitting here for 4 hours. It's gonna have to be some sort of railroad to get to see the adventure, right? Go from point A to B, C, D, like this, to experience what you're there to do, right?
Yeah, follow the breadcrumbs a little bit, right?
Yeah, and so they mostly give you a break on that. The players do,
yes.
And so if you give them 3 or 4 breadcrumbs, they'll pick one of them and run with it. And if they don't,
sorry, go ahead, keep going.
If they don't, you just keep keep giving them different stuff to do. That, like you said, it leads and I know that when we run for Gooey Cube, it's all published material, right? And so there's a path and certain things that you can put in there. Give them all of it, you know. If they can't make a choice, or they want to go over and look at the pretty waterfall over there or something like that. You know, make the waterfall a mimic and have it attack them or something like that. Like I mean, I said plenty of stuff.
Yes, Amber, what you said right here and what you just said, Lance, this is the truth. And the thing is, you know, I say this all the time. There are things on a map that have to be on a map. Let's just put that as just an example. There are things on a map that have to be on a map. The city of Darkenhaven is at the edge of Dark Silver Bay, right? And it is on the edge of Verdestia. But there are lots of things that don't have to be on the map until you put them there. So predefining locations and those kinds of things can get you in trouble because people miss them. But if you say it doesn't really matter if the Cave of the Winds is 3 miles out of town to the east or 4 miles out of town to the west, right? It really doesn't matter, right? So this is the strategy of giving that illusion of choice and dropping these breadcrumbs and different breadcrumbs that ultimately still lead to the same sort of thing. Okay. I'm watching the time yet. I'm doing my good job here. Let's talk about, and I got to tell you, I've not had this experience very often. All right. But I have had a couple of times at a table, contrarians. They did not want to follow. In fact, I even had the table one time where I had to ask one person to leave. It's been the only time in my entire game mastering, and they actually had been doing this bad stuff the whole time, and I guess they got actually kicked out of the convention because of bad behavior, really bad behavior. And it was not just because they're being a contrarian; they're also saying things they should have been saying. It was very insulting. There's a lot of stuff. So anyway, but not that kind of contrarian. But how do you deal with, you've got a party of a group of 6 that really wants to go this way, but you've got this one sort of dominant personality and they're kind of pushing a little bit. How do you kind of address that?
Oh, okay. So somebody's trying to control the party basically, on what they do and stuff like that. That's an actual really tough one. Because there's a lot of people out there that just want to be, sometimes I do this. I just want to be led around. I don't want to make it. And then there's some people that automatically take control. You might call them natural leaders, things like that. And what I usually do when now I'm thinking of one of my regular gaming groups where there is a person that is a natural leader. We're doing this. And I like to point out, and as a GM, your voice carries more than you might think. Your opinion carries, even if the players are just like, oh, the GM said something that must be important. And so if you point out one of what the rest of the party is doing, almost putting one person on the spot. Oh, she said this, and wow, that sounds like an excellent idea. Oftentimes the leader will pick up on that and go, oh yeah, that, rethink it and go, oh yeah, let's do that. And you kind of win them on their side. And if they see that the GM is on the side of the other players, then you can very, very gently steer this back to where the rest of the party wants to go. But the important part, go ahead.
Sorry, keep going. I apologize.
The important part is to make sure that the leader person never feels like they're wrong, right? So yes, that's right. Yeah. So they, it's like, it's not that the position they had, what they wanted to do is necessarily wrong. It's just, here's an alternative. That maybe the rest of the group.
I use the NPC often for this. Or NPCs that are with the party.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's kind of been pushing and everybody's sort of following, and I feel like they're comfortable with that, because you're right. Some people just kind of want to be led along. They don't want to be the leader. They don't want to deal with that. They want somebody to sort of take charge. But other times, someone who's dominating like that can also make it not so fun for players. So I use a declarations concept, and I use it not just for combat, but I use it also sometimes in actions, right? So you come to a room and I am very intentional about what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I even use that with the NPCs because sometimes I'll have the NPC challenge the leader just for the fun of it, right? Just in a right way, right? I'm not sure about that. I don't know. What do you think, June? Right? And I look over at June, right? And I say, June, what do you think? And June says, well, maybe blah blah blah. And then I look over. What about you, Bob? Right? And so that gives other people a chance to kind of step forward without really being in the face of the leader, and then and letting it kind of go. It's a good technique to use. Anything from the chat on this this section of topic, Ed? I love that, Rick. I love giving those little secrets, handing them a note, right? Those kinds of things that kind of, because people love to kind of know things that nobody else knows or feel things that other people don't feel, right? Right? I love that. And I agree that you got to be careful because if there is a dominating leader who's literally leading the party to destruction, you probably want to try to intervene a little bit. All right, let's go to the next topic. So we're moving along. We're in the adventure, right? Things are going. We've been going for about an hour and a half or so, 2 hours, and you've been managing play. And typically, everyone should know this. You're typically not going to get more than 3 or 4 encounters, maybe 5 good encounters, combat encounters in a 4-hour session. If you're doing role playing, mysteries, discovery and exploration all along with that. It's just not possible, especially if you have a complex combat, because a complex combat can go 20 minutes, half an hour, even longer. So how do you're in the middle of it, right? And they're falling behind, right? So they're starting to fall behind, and you really want them to get to the climax of the adventure, right? What do you do?
For me, that's an easy one. Take a look at what they've done. If there's enough pieces there, let's say it's a puzzle you have to put together, and you have most of the pieces. This was in Peculiar Brews, actually. You gain clues, right? And they're running behind. You know that you've gauged how this party does combat. You know how long the ending boss fight and encounter is going to take. You know that you need to stop them at X amount of time. It's coming up to that time. Give them all the clues right there. Sort of jump. So if you're going boom, 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 and then go, okay, you're there. And again, there's a suspension of belief that people have at the table, knowing that it's a 4-hour encounter. Oh, look at this. We gained 1 clue for the last 3 encounters, and we're getting 6 on this last one. And they're okay with it because they know that you're just trying to make it so that they experience that whole thing. So my answer would be just skip the other one. It's okay.
So do the chat in the chat, because this is a common thing in convention game mastering is trying to get it to the end, and I'd love to hear what folks do. What you said right there is exactly true. I also typically, with almost every adventure, if I'm running at a convention, I know it's a 4-hour session, I've already thought about what's my advancement strategy. I've literally thought it out, and I'd also be interested in the chat how many people actually sort of keep sort of tick marks or sort of objective marks as they go through to kind of keep that along with time to kind of keep track of it. Because I'd be interested, because I know some game masters do that. They're literally, and that gives them the opportunity to say, "Ooh, I really am behind here," or "I'm only a little behind. I can catch that up." I'd be interested to see what people do with that. What do you do if they're going too fast? While the chat looks at the other thing, what do you do? Actually, if you got a comment, throw it up if you got a comment, because I'd love to see what they say. I agree with that, Jeff.
Yep.
Make the combats faster. This is exactly one of the techniques you can use, especially if it's not the end combat, right? This is exactly right. Wait, we'll go back to that one before. Go back to Jeff is right. We'll go back to the next one, Ed.
The chat moves as I'm about to click comment, and it just makes you click the wrong thing.
Yes. So this is absolutely true. So you can, this is how you can advance, right? And this is part of improv, which is the last thing I want to talk about, okay? Because we're running out of time, but I really want to talk about this because by nature, these games are somewhat railroady at conventions for the most part, okay? But you got to be ready. So talk about improv, Lance. They are late. They are behind. Right? What are we doing here? Right?
Like
it's
us,
where you got to
right?
use your creativity. Yes. Yes.
Like
I'm improving right now.
Oh, we're running late too, I think. But yeah, improv. There's what I do is I'm a preparation GM. I look through whenever I'm running a module or something like that, a game. I think through the whole thing. I figure out what's important, what's not, what the party needs to have to make the adventure sort of complete. We gained these clues, and those clues led to this monster, or we did this, and that led to the final encounter. Knowing that, and then I usually just improv with what's there. If I'm trying to slow down a group, a simple trap, actually, made up on the fly.
Or another encounter added, right?
Yeah, or another encounter added. As a GM, you should probably have a lot of tools in your back pocket of previous games you've run that you can pull out. I know that at one of the con games I ran, the group was going a little fast, and so I threw in a tar pit trap that I had used in another game. And if you're a new GM, there's plenty of material out there that shows you this stuff. And just have it in your back pocket and just pull it out and go, oh, okay, look at this.
And that's
Go ahead.
For us with every adventure, right? This was the genesis of NSREs in the first place, not so random encounters, right? And the 3 different kinds: the lethal, the non-lethal, and of course the GUI editions, right? This was the idea of giving the game master more power rather than really having them be more random. And you can still randomize them if you choose, but this really adds and allows you what you just said right there to slow a game down, and obviously to speed it up. You can eliminate things, and you need to be prepared to do that as a game master. That's part of your good improv. And if you've thought about it ahead of time, you're ready to go, right? If you thought about it ahead of time. All right. Anything else from the chat, Ian? Mm-hmm. Rick, I agree with that too. You can lead them off on a red herring. It could literally be something that is absolutely a waste of their time, and they find out that it was a waste of their time. But that's because it doesn't always work out perfectly, right? That's absolutely right. So, yeah. Yes, I knew I could do it, right? Oh yes, a devil of a detail. Yes, that's exactly right. Where is the lawyer, as it said? So we are working on this, but it is behind some other things because it has to be. So what most of you all know this. We have had the most tumultuous time in Gooey Cube's history, other than during COVID, with these tariffs. And when you're literally 3 months ago looking at potentially $80,000 to $100,000 in incremental cost, it wasn't quite that much. But when you look at staff time and all the things that we're going to have to do and all the machinations, it could certainly approach in getting in that range. And you're pretty thin margin business as it is, right? It really puts you in a tremendously difficult position. And we have been battling that, and as Iad knows better than most, Lawrence has been our hero in this. We've talked to places, Mexico, South America. We've talked to Eastern Europe. We've been round and round with suppliers and various people that we know in the industry. And what are you doing? And first of all, I want to tell something. We got a message that yesterday on the Kickstarter saying they're worried because of the cool mini or not circumstance, which I don't know if you know this, but that there's some things around there about some things not being delivered from a Kickstarter by them. And I don't know the whole story, so I don't want to repeat things that might or might not be rumors. So if anybody in the chat really knows the story and they could put a little comment, let people know. But there are some folks out there who are not fulfilling their Kickstarters because of these tariffs, because it's just so onerous. The costs would destroy them. We are not that. I want to be absolutely, eminently, 100% clear. We are right now printing. We are in the process of printing the Tomb of Geisengax and a number of supplements that are being printed. These are being printed in China because of the change in the tariffs, right? It went from a much higher tariff rate to a lower tariff rate. Plus, there's after now taking the months that we have taken and doing our homework and being smart, right? Rather than just knee jerking, wonderful Lawrence has found out some certain, I don't want to call them loopholes because they're not, but there's certain rules that if you follow certain rules, it cuts your exposure.
Certain
now, I will tell you
harmonization codes. Yeah.
Yes, all of these things. Yes. Now I will tell you, my friends, it's probably $50,000 to $70,000 of impact on us. That's just the truth. And when you have a Kickstarter that did about $700,000, that's a pretty big percentage. And but I want to be eminently clear that we are delivering. We are in the process of printing them, and everything is going to be put out there. It's just late. And that unfortunately, I think we could have been very close to on time had we not had this experience. By the same token, it's allowed me to add more stuff to the environment, so I did.
That I have to proofread.
Yes, I'm sorry, Ian, but Ian, tell him it's bigger. Yes, we added quite a bit more.
It is. It's I'm actually not sure now if it'll fit in the 2-inch box or if it has to be as big as Darkenhaven. I don't think it'll be 11 pounds, but I think just the amount it'll have to be that same box, so we need that extra inch. And I have to proofread to make sure you don't have any more double ofs or thes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know that's something that I do sometimes when I'm typing stuff in. Yeah, Rick, it will not be 13 pounds. This will not be heavy as Darkenhaven and the Glooport. I don't think we will ever be as ambitious in any project we ever do in the future as we were with Darkenhaven and the Glooport. That is something very special that will be always a part of our history. I don't get paid by the word, Harry. Actually, it just costs me when I add words. So
I will probably say Environs is like a larger Mornwood.
Yeah,
it's got
larger than Mornwood.
It's got the one setting book, the one reference book, and then more.
Yeah, and it's beautiful and it leads really, really well because obviously the temple is coming next with the next Kickstarter. And I'm going to tell you something else. This is another problem these tariffs did for us, right? Delayed, many companies, much of their revenue now is coming from Kickstarters. And when you have to delay a Kickstarter 3 or 4 months, 5 months, because you have to delay the delivery of your previous Kickstarter, it really, that just adds to your cost structure because we still got to pay our dear friend Iad, we got to pay our dear friend Lawrence and take care of expenses and all of that kind of stuff. So there's probably more information than anybody wanted, but I did want to put it out there just because I got that message today. It's the first time we've really heard somebody really banging on us and afraid that we're not going to deliver. And we're going to deliver. That is not even right yet. I'm not bullshitting any. Oh, I just dropped a shit word.
Oh, you just dropped it again.
But I'm not, right? I'm not. You know this, right? You know the prints. The things are out.
I know we've been delayed, and it's been tough because when we're at that stage where we're chugging along, there's not much. There's no big announcements to make. No big updates. Like, hey, we finished this thing, and nope, we're just still chugging along. We're trying to get this printed, but we are. You can ask me. I triple down on answering emails and then proofreading Geisengax and then helping out Lawrence, making sure it gets fulfilled and shipping. We are working on it. We are for sure working on it. It's not just we're still hoping to get there. We're in the process of getting it done.
Yes, and we're not printing everything in China. Because the print packages, a lot of that's going to be printed here in the United States with our print partner. So we've got this handled. Do not worry, and we'll have more updates here over the next couple weeks. But I did want to answer that just to make sure. Anything else from the chat, Iad? There's always room for a little bit more, as Bilbo Baggins said. Yes, there's always room. So no, but listen. I mean, the truth is, here's the wonderful truth of this thing. I mean, there are, because of this Kickstarter we did with Luke, and Luke is such a dear friend. I had a chat with. I've been talking to him, keeping him up to speed on all of this stuff as well. He totally understands it. He's seen what's going on in the industry. He knows. But really, there's probably 2,000 to 3,000, sorry, probably 2,000 people who've never seen a Gooey Cube thing in their life, other than what they saw in the Kickstarter. They've never been a customer before. They backed our Kickstarter, and they're going to get this stuff. And I want to blow their minds. I want them to get this and go, oh my gosh, that's what I'm hoping for. And so, and I think they're going to. I mean, the tomb is great, Ed, right? The tomb is great. And a lot of people have gotten the digitals. We've gotten some great feedback. So I'm very confident that the environments will receive the same. Mm-hmm. So, all right, enough about that. Lance, thank you.
No, this has been fun. I wasn't planning on doing this weekend, but so yeah, it's been great. Thanks for having me on.
Neither was I.
Sorry. Well, yes, it's Mandy. It's all Mandy's fault, Ed. So
Mandy's.
Lance, it all is really Mandy's fault, because Lance sends Mandy an email saying, I'm coming to Colorado Springs. Mandy doesn't tell anyone, okay? No one, tells no one, and doesn't read the email carefully, so she doesn't realize Lance is going to be here for like 3 days, right? And Lance, I do have to give you a hard time, because you should have called me, because we're good friends, and you should have called me. And then Mandy's late on letting Ian know that he has to run the show. So all you chat people that think Mandy is like this perfect little angel, it's not always true. She's only sometimes a perfect little angel. All right, that's it. Ian, you got anything last words?
I'm excited to see everyone at Gen Con if you don't see me on stream before then, and have a good weekend.
Absolutely. Lance, any last words?
Goodbye. Oh, Sticky, something about Sticky.
May all your adventures
be sticky.
There we go.
Yes, very good. All right, we're out the door. Thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Bye-bye now.